All right, so this video is my response to JD Kicks, which is not going to come off on any type of like fake WWE type of aggressive energy or anything like that. I actually agree with a lot of the points that he made, which I wanted to kind of add on to what he was already talking about, which he was essentially, well, actually, before I get started, I do want to mention I'm going to link his video down below. Make sure you guys check it out, which he was responding to a TikTok he made. He kind of got a lot of hate for it, talking about the reason people aren't buying or not wearing Jordans anymore, which his thing was kind of like, you know, people that buy Jordans are now over 30 years plus. He's saying Jordans are uncomfortable, and rather than paying over $200 plus, why would you buy a pair of sneakers which are uncomfortable when you can opt in for more affordable options that are a lot more comfortable, which I can't really disagree on that. I just kind of think it's maybe like the wording, which is why he got a lot of hate, saying that nobody wears Jordans or nobody buys Jordans anymore, because, I mean, if you pretty much just break it down by the numbers, like, people are still buying Jordans out here, right? Last year, Jordan Brand reported sales of over $7 billion. And if you look at things all the way from the years 2018 and up, like even probably before that, they've continued to increase their annual revenue every single year. So I wouldn't necessarily say people aren't out here like buying Jordans, but what I would agree with is that people are like diversifying or wearing a more diverse lineup of their sneaker wardrobe, more so than ever, right? And I think everybody has their own journey. As far as mine, I know a lot of people know me as like the guy that was reviewing Yeezys over here on YouTube like 3-4 years ago. But contrary to popular belief, you know, I grew up like a lot of people over the age of 30 rocking Jordans, right? You know, in the 90s, it was an era that I feel like can never be really duplicated. Michael Jordan just kind of had like everything in the chokehold, from the marketing, from Nike to just his dominance on the court. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. We grew up rocking J's. We saw our OGs rocking J's, and the youngest seen us wearing J's. So the cycle just continues. And of course, Nike, they do a great job of reminding us, you know, every so often of MJ's greatness with documentaries like The Last Dance, you know, stuff like that, special Jordan releases throughout the years. So I don't necessarily think it's a thing of people like not wearing Jordans anymore, right? I just think it's people have diversified their lineup more so than ever. And as far as my personal journey, right, I mentioned I grew up wearing Jordans, but around like, what was it, 2015 through like 2017 or something like that. Remember when Kanye first went over to Adidas? That's where things kind of shifted for me. You see, I was one of them kids that grew up like nothing but Nike, nothing but J's, but for the first time, I was out here rocking Adidas, and I was pretty much just locked in like with everything Yeezy was doing. So when Yeezy came to an end, you know, salute to Kanye for like making me for the first time start to diversify my sneaker lineup. But I was checking out other stuff. I was still checking out for Adidas products. But then, you know, I was over here for the first time in 2022 buying my first pair of New Balance, which I know New Balance has always been a thing, but in my opinion, it's always kind of been more so like regional. You know, we got to give props to the DMV up top and everything like that. So first pair of New Balance, which opened me up to all of their classic retro silhouettes, everything that they're doing over there. I love New Balance, right? Comfortable on top of that. So I was starting to diversify my lineup, but one thing that never really changed, you know, I got to be real. Like, I never stopped buying Jordans. I might have slowed down a little bit, but I've always kept buying Jordans. And the reason is like, they're just so timeless. Like, think of a sneaker like the Jordan 1, the Jordan 3, the Jordan 4s. I would say those are just as timeless as, say, like a pair of Chuck Taylors, a pair of Air Force Ones, and I don't see anybody not wearing those sneakers because they're uncomfortable. So although Jordans, they're not the most comfortable sneakers on the market, I don't think anybody's buying Jordans really so for the comfort. And it could be more so like a regional thing, but for people over here in the US, like everybody's still rocking J's. Of course, they do have a diverse lineup. They're wearing some retro runners here and there. They're wearing Adidas, but people have always continued to wear Jordans. I know things are different in other regions, but here in the US, yo, people are still rocking J's like that. And you know, while everybody does kind of go through different phases, you know what I mean? You have different trends that pop up here and there. Like, there's nothing wrong with the retro runner wave right now. It's dope to be able to get affordable sneakers. I got a few pairs here in my lineup. Can you really be mad at it? No. And then for like the hype beasts and everything like that, Nike, Jordan Brand, they're still coming with the hype releases. People are still going crazy for the collaborations. They're dropping a whole bunch of pairs of these classic Jordan retros. So as far as like the sneaker game here in 2025, I mean, this might be one of the best years ever when you talk about releases, classic OG releases from Nike, Jordan Brand. You got brands like Asics mixing it up with lifestyle runners, New Balance doing their thing, collaborations, classic models. Like, it's not a better time to be a sneakerhead with all these Jordans sitting on shelves too. Like, come on now. Ain't nobody complaining. The only thing I could be mad about, some of these limited collabs, but hey, at the end of the day, I guess they're supposed to be limited, drop the hype for a reason. So as far as people no longer wearing Jordans, I would disagree with that statement. He did make several great points, and as well in this video, something that he highlighted that I actually had no clue about. He mentioned how people out here swapping out their insoles, you know, on a pair of Jordans, which I feel like that's a great idea, but how come Nike and Jordan brand, they ain't doing it? Like, come on now, that's a simple fix to make your sneakers a lot more comfortable. And as I mentioned, I think everybody as a sneakerhead has their own different experiences, which makes the whole sneaker game so great. But just for me personally, like, I'm gonna be real, you know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned, I've always bought Jordans, never really stopped, slowed down a lot more, but some of these pairs are just so timeless that I'm gonna be forever rocking J's. And let's just keep it real, like, I'm not out here like walking everywhere. Like, let's just be real. I'm not on my feet all the time. Like, for people that live in like bigger cities like New York and stuff like that, for the most part, I'm in the house, you know, I'm driving, not really out here walking heavily in my sneakers. So if I know I'm gonna be out running errands or something like that, you know, I might opt in for like something more comfortable, like some New Balances or something. But nah, matter of fact, I'm gonna be real, like, I'm not really out here like picking my sneakers based off comfort. It's more so for like what I actually wanna wear, what I think is fly. And then if they're comfortable, that's definitely a plus. But I would agree that, you know, a lot of people have opted out of buying as many Jordans, you know, for more comfortable options like New Balance, Asics and such. But I would have to say that, you know, there's not people out here that just like outright completely stop buying Jordans, because you already know once a dope pair pops up, you know, in the release calendar, a classic, maybe something you missed out on, maybe something that you had nostalgia for as a kid, more so than likely you're just gonna pick up them joints. And if they're sitting, and like let's say you walk into a mall and you might just pass them joints walking through the mall or something like that, they might just catch your eye and just bring back that love for these classic Jordan retros that you once had. So I don't think people are ever gonna really stop buying Jordans like that. The sales figures would definitely disagree. 7 billion, I ain't gonna lie, not looking too shabby. So let me know what you guys think about this topic. Do you guys feel like people aren't out here rocking Jordans anymore? Because I agree with a lot of the points that he said. I just think it's the wording. Like, people are definitely still out here buying Jordans. It's just maybe not as many, you know what I'm saying? But they're still rocking Jordans, right? And every day a new sneakerhead is born. So drop your feedback down below. Are you still wearing Jordans, or have you kind of diversified your lineup? You switching things up, or you just not rocking Jordans at all? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys next time. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Love.